I'm Danny Kanell of CBS Sports HQ, breaking down all 40 college football bowl games this season. It's time now for the Military Bowl. North Carolina facing Temple. I'm going to pick these versus the spread, so I need to bring in the big hitters. Tom Fornelli and Barrett Sallee will help me out with this one. Mack Brown, really impressive turnaround for this North Carolina Tar Heel squad, getting them to the 6-6 bowl eligibility, and probably the thing they're going to remember most this season is coming this close against Clemson when they had a 2-point conversion, which would have won that game. Love the fact that Mack Brown went for it. Probably saved Clemson's playoff hopes, because I don't know if they would have made it if they would have lost that game. Playing against a Temple squad who's had their moments this season as well. They finished 8-4. North Carolina's laying 5.5. Tom, are you taking the Tar Heels?
I am, yeah. I think that, you mentioned that game against Clemson, and I feel like the majority of college football fans, the only time they've seen North Carolina play football this year was probably the last 2 minutes of that Clemson game when they turned it on because everybody was telling them, turn on the Clemson-North Carolina game. Clemson might lose. But this is a North Carolina team that its record doesn't show it, but it has been a very good team this season, particularly Sam Howell at quarterback, one of the best freshman quarterbacks in the country, if not the best. He's thrown for 3,347 yards. He has 35 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and he's got a couple of receivers in Daz Newsome and De'Ami Brown who've combined for 1,894 yards and 19 touchdowns. This is a fun team to watch. It's a team I've enjoyed watching. Mack Brown has come back and he's injected a lot of life into a program that for the last few years, even with the success that they had early in the Larry Fedora era, just didn't really seem to be all that super excited to be playing football. And North Carolina, I felt like the fan base was never all that excited about it. But that life and that energy is back in the program. You know that they're going to be taking this game seriously. Mack Brown is not going to let his team look past the bowl game. He wants to get advantage. He knows that this is a Temple team that is a good AAC team. It's one of the better teams from the American Athletic Conference. It's picked up some big wins this year. It's just when I look at this matchup offensively, Temple just isn't explosive enough to keep pace with North Carolina. The Owls have a very good defense that will give Sam Howell and that North Carolina offense some problems. It's just on the other side, I don't see them being able to move the ball very consistently against this North Carolina defense and putting up a ton of points. So I would lay the points with the Tar Heels here. I think that they're going to put on a good performance, and I think that if you haven't watched them yet this year, this is a good game to finally get a chance to check out the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I'm with North Carolina as well. Sam Howell's been awesome, but his receivers, and I think more importantly, the differences between the two-star receivers has been a big reason for his success. I mean, De'Ami Brown's averaging over 20 yards per reception. We all know Daz Newsome, but both of those guys working in concert together is going to put a lot of pressure on that Temple defense. Now, Temple is good. That's been their calling card, has been defensive success. But I just think the problems that passing game with North Carolina create are really going to test the athletes outside for Temple, and they're going to have to roll coverage over to stop some of these guys. And then as a result, you're going to see the tight end over the middle, or you're going to have room for the running back. And Sam Howell is, fully capable of taking off a little bit. Maybe not in that Clemson game on a 2-point conversion, but he can move a little bit. So, I'll take North Carolina, best quarterback in the ACC outside of Trevor Lawrence. So, give me the Tar Heels and Sam Howell, the former Florida State commit that could have been starting in Tallahassee this year.
Why you got to rub it in, Barrett? That's messed up. And I trust me, I texted Mack Brown. I was like, why are you stealing our quarterbacks? And he that was a big coup for him. And obviously it's been a big reason. And you mentioned Trevor Lawrence, second best. If you compare their numbers, their true freshman seasons, Sam Howell might have been more impressive statistically. Obviously not in the win-loss column, but he doesn't have the talent.
They're pretty comparable this year.
No, I know. He's been outstanding. He really has. He's going to be a guy that's going to put North Carolina on the map and already has this season. Temple, on the other hand, they started off the season really strong at 5-1. They beat Maryland out of the Big Ten when Maryland was actually a top 25 team at the time. They knocked off Memphis, who was top 25 at the time. Memphis is the best team in the group of 5, but what'd they do after that? They gave up 45 points to SMU and 63 to UCF. A little bit tough to figure out.
Great.
I think UNC is going to come in with a lot of enthusiasm. Mack Brown has really infused a lot of energy, and I think he's going to be dancing in that locker room once again after this game. So I'm going to lay the 5.5 as well with the Tar Heels. It is the Military Bowl, North Carolina versus Temple, Friday, December 27th at 12 p.m.